Hi friends, it's Bo. Welcome back to Bo's Books. I'm going to be doing a mid-year book freakout tag. I have not been around booktube for a really long time, so I'm brand new. I just found out about this. I got recommended a video by This Story Ain't Over, and she did this booktube tag, and I thought it was really interesting. So this was a booktube tag created many years ago by �㪬𝘁 Books and Read Like Wildfire, who actually I don't think has a booktube anymore. So I'm just brand new to it. I'm gonna just jump right in, and I did not prepare for this. I did not even think that I was gonna be making a video today. I was getting kind of lazy about it, to be honest, but I didn't want to just give up on it and, you know, fall into the wayside and have everybody forget that I exist. So hi, I'm here, I exist, and here's another video from me. Hope you enjoy it. So the first question, best book you've read so far. I don't have my physical copy of it yet because it is a book that has not actually been released yet. This book actually does not get published until September 30th of this year, 2025. So I have it pre-ordered, and I pre-ordered a signed copy because I'm that obsessed with it. It is The Mean Ones by 𝘞𝘪𝘵𝘏𝘏𝘏𝘏𝘏𝑗𝑥, and I hope I did not just butcher her name. I was lucky enough to receive an e-arc for this book by my favorite publisher, Creature Publishing, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint. This book was so good. I was sold the second that I saw that this was a book that was going to be reminiscent of the movie *Midsommar, and it had to do with a cult, and immediately I was like, I'm sold. You don't even have to tell me anything else. And I really didn't even read the synopsis before going into this book. I was just like, yep, I'm gonna get *Midsommar vibes, I'm gonna get cult vibes, it's set in the woods, and let's just go in right there. And I got everything I wanted out of this book. I love Tatiana's writing. This is her debut adult novel. She does have another novel, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you more about that later because Tatiana's actually another answer to one of the other questions on this booktube tag. Just a little hint at what's coming next in this video. But so let me rewind a little bit and just go back to talking about The Mean Ones. Literally, I wrote in my review on Goodreads, it says, "The Mean Ones gripped me from the very first line." And that line is, "The dead raven on the doorstep is not a good sign." It had me at that line. That line just, I read it and I was like, ooh, this is gonna be so good. And let me tell you, it was. You follow a girl named Sadie who is essentially feels like she is losing her mind. She's hearing voices and seeing visions. Her hallucinations are really gruesome. Basically, she is trying to live her life and live a quote-unquote normal life without people knowing that she's the girl that survived this horrific event. So even her current boyfriend has no idea that she is the survivor of this. Her boyfriend is the biggest jerk. Like, I hate that character. He was written so well to be hated. I would even say that, like, Sadie for me wasn't even a likable character, to be honest, because I was just so frustrated with her. But honestly, the character arcs that go on throughout the story are amazing, and I think you have to like start where you are with these characters to really appreciate the journey that you go on and then where you end up with all these characters in the story. This was absolutely a 5-star read for me. I was just in it the whole way through, just gripped, wanting to know what was going to happen. This book very much felt like this would be a script for an A24 film. If this does not get adapted into a movie, I'm gonna be so sad. Okay, the next question is best sequel you've read so far. So if you've watched my tarot readathon vlog, which is the video I posted last week. I know it was super long. It was like a whole hour. But if you did happen to watch that video, you will have learned about me that me and books in a series don't really go together. I'm gonna be honest with you, any sequels that I have read so far this year, I've either DNF'd or given a really bad rating. So I don't even know if I want to answer this one. Can't really pick the best one because they, for me, were all bad. I read The Cock Down the Block by Amy Award. And this was a genre that I have never read before. This is a book that I literally would have like never picked up. And the only reason I did was because I thought it was funny. I saw the title and I was like, that's hilarious. I'm probably gonna hate this, but I'm gonna read it for the laughs because it's so ridiculous. Lo and behold, I loved that book. It was so fun. The male voice actor for that was just, he was just so good. The narrator of an audiobook can honestly make or break the whole thing. A lot of people were commenting on, you know, her writing and all the grammatical errors and this and that. And to be honest, because I was mostly listening to it rather than reading it, I didn't notice any of that. So I was just having a grand old time listening to the audiobook. When a good narrator will read a book, and if there is grammatical errors, obviously they're not going to read the mistakes, they correct them in their recording. So to me, I was like, this is fabulous. And so I had the best time. And honestly, I was smiling the entire time I was reading that book. I was like, this is so fun. Looking back now, I probably have a slightly different opinion of the book. I think I'm less enamored with it now. Like immediately after I finished reading it, I was like 5 stars. Once I gave it some time, I realized, okay, maybe it's not a 5-star read. Like maybe I need to like simmer down a little bit. This book is basically like a American football family version of Bridgerton. Like there's a dad who has like 8 children. They're all boys and the youngest one's a girl. Each book follows a different one of the kids. She writes it in her author's note in the beginning. This is what you should be expecting from this book because that's what it is. I wrote it for just pure enjoyment, pure fluff. It's supposed to be fluff. All of her books showcase a plus size female main character. And I thought that was really, really cool. And honestly, that's what drew me, besides the ridiculous title, was the cover. This FMC was so cute. I had to pick it up. I was like, I love her. So I actually convinced my best friend to read this book, who she was like, no way, I'm not reading that. That's ridiculous. So she ends up reading it. She ends up loving it. And so, because we're like yapping about it and going on like, oh my God, I can't believe we like this book. And we're like chit-chatting and we're talking about the siblings, talking about this and that, whatever. We hype each other up so much that we end up reading the second book. She actually buys it. She buys a signed copy of the second book, and that is called 𝘞𝘪𝘵𝘴. And she lends it to me. So I ended up reading it first. I was so disappointed because I wanted to love that series. I was so in it. I was so ready to read every single book. I was ready to have a Bridgerton experience. Let me just clarify, I have not read the Bridgerton books. I've only watched the series. I actually heard the books weren't that great, so I have yet to give them a chance. And I probably won't because I already just love the show and I already know what's going to happen in the show, and I'm invested in the show. I don't know if I want to do the books, to be honest. Like I don't think I'm going to go there. So the series is called The Cocky Kingmans. And I wanted to be so invested in this Kingman family. Like I was for a while. Me and my best friend were so invested. We were like obsessed with this family and we were really excited to just read all these books. And I read too many of them, actually. I think I read like 6 books. However, I didn't like any of them except for the first one. And I kept giving them a chance, hoping that it was going to get better. And I was hoping that, okay, maybe it was just the second one that I didn't like. Let me try the next one. So I tried the third one and I was like, oh, that one wasn't that good either. Let me try the fourth one. And I tried that one and I was like, oh my God, this is where I learned to DNF. Like it took me a long time to embrace the art of DNF. I've always been one of those readers where if I start reading a book, I feel like I have to finish it. It's taken me so many years to be at peace with the idea of just putting a book down if I'm not enjoying it. And I feel like I had to have people remind me that there are too many good books out there and you're never going to get to them all. So why waste your time on books that are not bringing you enjoyment? The segues on this video are gonna be ridiculous, and later me editing this is gonna be like, stop talking. Why? That we're barely on question number 2 and there's 13 questions. So I knew better. I like knew I shouldn't have ever picked up book 2 in the Kingman series. I knew that I was good with number 1 and I shouldn't continue, because when I saw that book number 2 was essentially a fanfic of Tay and her NFL boyfriend, I already knew that she lost me. I'm not a Swiftie, but I don't dislike her. I didn't want to read a fanfic of her relationship. I found it cringy, and then I forced myself to finish it, and at no point was I having a good time, and I should have just DNF'd it. All that to say, I ended up DNFing the series, and I did not like not one of the sequels. I've also DNF'd about 7 other series this year so far. I loved Butcher and Blackbird. That book was awesome. Was ready to pick up the second one. Glad that I borrowed the book and didn't just run out and buy it, because I didn't get past like 54 pages. I think the book had just barely started and I was like, I'm done. I can't. No good sequels were had thus far. I've yet to start a series that I enjoy the sequel, but you know what? That's about to change, because you know what I'm doing this week, currently as I'm recording this? This week is Goosebumps Read Along Week, hosted by my friend Billy. They will be the best sequels that I've read this far. So my answer preemptively is going to go to Goosebumps. What this answer would have been had I made this video next week instead of this week. Question number 3. New release you haven't read yet but want to. Okay, I might be cheating with my answer because I've actually already started reading this, but I have not completed it and I still want to. So I'm going to go with that as my answer because I don't care. A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. And I don't know if I mispronounced her name. I apologize if I did. I love her writing. I read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches and I fell in love with it. So diverse, so flawless, so cozy, so cute. I was obsessed. It was not cheesy. It was heartwarming and wonderful. Before I get into a tangent, if you want to hear me ramble about how good this book is, you need to watch my previous video, my tarot readathon vlog. And just, you know, if you only want to hear about this book, just skip to book number 1 because this is the first book I end up reading. Spoiler alert, if you have not watched it, go back and watch it and just watch the part about this where I go on and on about how I did not expect to like this book and then I ended up liking this book, and you'll see why you need to pick it up. I read that book and then immediately pre-ordered this book, which is her newest release that just came out. Even though the covers look like they go together and this would be a series, it's actually not. The magic and how it works in this book is different from the magic and how it works in this book, so they do not go together. I am on page 94, which is chapter 9. I've already started annotating it. I'm just obsessed with how the author creates such a vibrant world of diverse characters. Like, I love that the female main character of this book and this book, if we're talking about it, are both Indian women. If you want diverse characters in a magical fantasy cozy world, pick up either one of these 2 books. Question number 4. Most anticipated release for the rest of the year. Both of these books are debut novels from these 2 authors, and also both of these books are getting released October of this year. My Lips, Her Voice will be released October 14th, 2025, and Forsyth Conservatory will be released October 25th of 2025. Both of these books sound like they would be right up my alley. I have been excited about My Lips, Her Voice since February of this year, so much so that I applied to get an ARC and was actually approved, and I happen to be on the street team for this author to promote her book. Even with things that I'm really excited about, I will like wait to actually open them or use them or play them or read them. That I don't know why, it's just the way that I am. So the fact that I have access to read this book already but haven't says nothing about my level of excitement. I am still highly anticipating this book even though I already have access to reading it. So whether that makes sense to you or not, leave me a comment and let me know if you actually understand where I'm coming from with this, or if you think I'm absolutely insane. So I'm going to read you the synopsis for this book so I can get you as hooked on it as I am, okay? So I want you to be excited to read this, just like I'm excited to read this, and then we're both going to eventually get around to it, okay? So a grandmother tormented by visions tried to warn the town, but no one listened. Now a haunted inheritance has passed to her granddaughters, Audrey and Mara. When Mara's body is discovered in the old mine, Audrey fears her grandmother's premonition is manifesting. The nightmare begins as Mara's spirit returns, lurking under Audrey's skin. Hell-bent on vengeance and desperate to rekindle things with her former girlfriend Zadie, I think it's Zadie, willing to hijack Audrey's body to get what she wants, Mara drags them both into a deadly pursuit. There's more. When another girl in town goes missing, Audrey, Mara, and Zadie know the killer has struck again. In a fight to solve Mara's death and uncover the mystery of disappearances in Cooper City, the girls soon find themselves at war with each other. How do you survive long enough to hunt a murderer on the loose if the person inside you might kill you first? Do you see why I'm intrigued by this? There's a little bit of possession, there's a little bit of murder mystery, there's a little bit of queer representation. I feel like when you're so excited about something and then you're like, no, I can't read it yet, but I need to read it. I need to read it before it gets released, okay? Because I have the arc and I need to review it. So honestly, like if you're also interested in reading an arc of this book, I believe that she is still offering people arcs. So if this intrigues you, leave a comment down below so she knows that you're interested. I'm going to leave her bookstagram, another book published by Creature Publishing. The reason why I love Creature Publishing is because it highlights female authors' voices in the realm of the horror genre. This book is a horror. I've heard it described as a cozy horror, and also and if you don't go for the arc or you don't get approved for the arc, just know that this book will be coming out for everybody to read October 14th, 2025. So keep an eye out for it. I'm excited about it. I will let you know once I actually get around to reading it what my final thoughts are, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to be good because it sounds great. The next one that I'm going to answer for this question is going to be a book that I heard of just recently that popped up. A friend of mine on Bookstagram also posted this. The author is going to be giving out arcs for this one, so of course I applied for it. We'll see if I get it. Fingers crossed, but it is called Forsyth Conservatory by A.L. Sterling, and this is also this author's debut novel. I think it's funny that these two authors both go by two initials and then their last name, like L.L. Madrid and A.L. Sterling, and they're both coming out with their debut novels, and they're both coming out in October of this year, and they both have spooky horror vibes. Coincidence? Maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know, but I am excited about both of these books, and I think it's really funny that these are my two picks, and they are kind of similar a little bit. This one, I don't know too much about it, but there is a tarot card on the cover. I was told that this is dark academia, that this is gothic horror, that this is set in 1910 from what I can see. I also heard some mention of cult, and I was like sold. Anytime there is cult in the description anywhere relating to a story, I'm in. Like, I love a cult story. Like, if there is something that, again, Midsummer, right? Like cultish kind of weird, group of people vibes. I want that. Like, I love those stories. I love those movies. I want everything about it. I love a good cult story. I love a group of people that have just lost their marbles and think that they're doing the right thing, and they're actually like, what the heck is going on? Like, I want that. Question 5. Biggest disappointment of the year so far. First time caller? Huge disappointment. I pre-ordered that book. The cover is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, I love the cover. I was like, this book is going to be so good. It literally said, if you love Sleepless in Seattle, you'll love this book. And then I read the book and I was bored out of my mind. And this was before I had accepted the art of DNFing. So I didn't DNF. I suffered through that entire book, and I literally had to ask myself, am I reading the same book as everyone else? Everybody else gave that book 5 stars, and I cannot fathom there was no conflict. The whole reason that these two people couldn't be together was non-existent. What conflict? What was the issue? They literally liked each other from the very beginning. They saw each other and were already like insta-love, yet they put their own boundaries on their relationship. Like, why? If you're interested in each other, then just go out, like go on a date. What was the reason why you could not date this person? And also, people were like really loving the family dynamic that was there, and I just thought that was so unrealistic. I thought it was really weird that she lived right next to her ex-husband. Like, he is just like too involved in her life, where they just come over, like him and his new husband, they like are always in her house. Can you guys get out? Like, let her make a decision for herself. She's a grown woman. And I'm just like the oddball out. And this is why I've been moving away from reading romance, because it clearly is just not for me, I guess. I'm not on the same page as a lot of other people. I'm not the audience, I guess. And I just need to find whatever works for me. And we're not going to go on that tangent because we already know how I feel about romance. But yes, I've moved away from romance and I've moved into more horror, and we're just gonna stick with that for now, because apparently, you know, popular romance books are just not for me, I guess. I don't know. Number 6, biggest surprise of the year so far has to go to Stinger by Robert McCammon. I would have never picked this book up, okay? I'm as old as this book. I love the 80s. Anything in the 80s, I'm like obsessed with, but for some reason, it just looked old and dusty. And then I read the prologue and I was blown away by Robert McCammon's writing. I was apparently living under a rock because I knew nothing about this author. Lo and behold, he is right up there with like Stephen King. I was gripped by this man's writing. He is so good at painting a picture and describing every character and describing the world and just really making you feel like you are right there in the center of this book. This book came alive for me. This is a book that I am shocked has not gotten a full-length feature film. They did do a TV show adaptation of this book, but I also heard that it had absolutely nothing to do with the story, which is crazy to me because this book in and of itself is a masterpiece, and for them to not follow the script that was clearly laid out for them, which is gold, is wild. It changed my mind about whether or not I like sci-fi, because I was like, why do I keep saying that I don't like sci-fi when everything that I read or watch of sci-fi, I actually really enjoy it? I'm just gonna start being a little bit more open-minded about sci-fi, I think. But I'm glad that I gave this a chance. I definitely want to read more from this author. I did also find another book by this author and I snatched it up because I was like, Robert McCammon, yes please. Now every time I see a book of his in a thrift store, in a bookstore, in a free little lending library, I'm gonna grab it because I know that this author now, his writing is just chef's kiss, immaculate. I love it. Okay. And this cover also gripped me. So I'm actually, I mean, this is not even an answer to any question, but this is something that I'm excited about reading, is another book by Robert McCammon. And this is called Boy's Life. 80s, like kids on bikes, that I'm all about it. I'm all about that. Like, that's totally like Stranger Things vibes. Give me anything with that 80s nostalgia when you have like kids playing in the streets, riding bicycles. I just literally watched Summer of '84, obsessed, because that was like everything I wanted it to be. It is taking me so long to film this video. You're getting a whole spectrum of light. Number 7, newest favorite author, debut or new to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I need to bring up to you again Tatiana 𝘰𝘪𝘮. I have to talk about her again. Okay, so while I was reading my arc of The Mean Ones, I decided that I loved her writing so much that I also wanted to pick up at the same exact time Such Lovely Skin. I'm literally obsessed with this cover. This is like my favorite color blue. This book is Tatiana's young adult horror debut novel. and The Mean Ones is her adult horror debut novel. Both of her books have been 5-star reads for me. Even the young adult one, I was like obsessed with it. I love it. It's about a Twitch streamer who plays horror games. There's a doppelganger demon that starts like haunting her, and the way that the kids talk are young, and you know, you kind of have to get used to that. But I mean, go into it knowing you're getting YA, right? So if you can get past that, this is actually really fun. And I like YA. Like I'm a fan. Like, I mean, not always, some of it is, you know, it's hit or miss just like anything else, but I do enjoy a good YA or even middle grade because I like to embrace my inner child. So I really love Tatiana's work. Like I said, both of her books so far have been 5 out of 5. I would pick up anything that Tatiana puts out. I think she's an auto-buy author for me now. I mean, she has only put out those 2 books, but I mean, both of those books were 5 stars for me. So I'm excited for whatever Tatiana has coming out next, and I will buy it immediately because I really, really enjoy her writing. So I'm happy to have found her through Creature Publishing. So they basically vetted her for me. Oh, and I didn't even get to show you. And she signed it and personalized it. Okay, all right. Number 8, newest fictional crush. Now, my answer to this question is going to be Rome from Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. This is book 1 in her Forever Falling series. Book 2 doesn't come out till next year sometime, apparently. I think it's going to be like in April. That one is going to follow the story of 2 other characters that are in the first book. So you're definitely going to want to read Only for the Week before you read that second one. It is a spicy, good, drama-filled romance. There's actually not as much drama as I was anticipating, given the synopsis. So you have the main character, which is Dr. Janelle, and her sister is getting married to Janelle's ex-boyfriend. Okay, so her sister and her ex are getting married, and the groom's best friend, who is his best man in the wedding, is the guy that Janelle is now going to be hooking up with only for the week. So I read that in the synopsis and was like, I want all the drama from this book. And I didn't get as much drama from it as I was expecting. I thought it was going to get a lot crazier, but it didn't. However, it was still a really fun book to read. I loved the characters. I loved the writing. I loved the storyline. Every single character was different and entertaining to read about, whether I loved them or hated them. They had distinct personalities. Read the book. Trust me. The glare on my glasses is just wild. I've taken so long to film this video. I had to change the battery on my camera again, and I had to turn on the inside light. In hours, I think. I don't know why I thought filming a mid-year book Freakout tag was gonna be quick and easy, and we were just gonna do a real quick video. Just a quick video, you know, just so I could put it out real quick tomorrow. Yeah, right. Hours to film, and then we're gonna have like hours to edit. Like, I'm gonna probably be editing like all day, who knows when, because I don't have time. One day this is gonna be a lot easier and I'm gonna get a lot quicker, but today is not that day. Today we are gonna be talking about number 9, newest favorite character. So I'm a big fan of a good, funny side character. So I want to say the first character that comes to my head is Evie from Only for the Week. She is hilarious. Like, I want a book that's all about Evie. I wish the second book in the series was Evie's story, but it's not. It's Danny's story, but it's okay. I hope that Evie is still in it. She is, I just love her. She's hilarious. She's that best friend that everybody wants. She is gonna have your back no matter what, and she's gonna make you laugh. Number 10, book that made you cry. Let's get into that a little bit. Okay. There's 2. First, A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. This is my first read from Paul Tremblay, and it did not disappoint. If you want to hear me talk about it and cry about it, watch the tarot readathon vlog that I posted last week. It is the 3rd and final book of that vlog. I didn't expect this book to bring me to tears, but it did. This is a sad book. Okay, I thought this was gonna be really scary, and it didn't scare me. It actually broke my heart. There is elements of it that were creepy, and it did have, spooky, scary possession. I'm just hard to scare, okay? I'm just hard to scare. But it was sad. It was really sad. I'm curious to know if anybody else has read this, if anybody else cried. However, when you ask me about a book that made me cry, the number one answer is going to be On My Honor by Marion Dane Bower. Now, this is all of 90 pages. This is a middle grade literary fiction recommended by my husband because this book resonated with him so much as a kid that he just hasn't forgotten it till this day. So when I asked him to recommend me my next read, I was shocked that he picked this little kids book, and I was like, this is the book that you're recommending? And I was like, okay, like, I mean, if you think it's that good, sure, I'll read it. So he ordered it. He told me nothing about it, and actually it was really cute. We each took turns reading a chapter, and we read a chapter back and forth together. I would highly recommend that if you don't know what this book is about, just go in blind like I did. I think already letting you know that I was sobbing is giving away too much. But just to answer the question, this book had me literally sobbing. I finished the last sentence and I couldn't hold it back anymore because I realized that the ending that I was waiting for was never going to happen. I had this idea that the book was going to end a certain way, and I held that idea literally until the last page, and that's when I started crying, because I realized at that point that there was no more book left to give me the ending that I thought was going to happen. Like, I was waiting for something and it didn't happen, and there was nowhere left for it to happen, and that's when it hit me, and I just couldn't hold back my tears. I think even my husband was saying he's not even sure why he picked this book up. I think he saw it in the library or at the store or something, and he just picked it out of the blue, nowhere, no recommendation. He just saw it and just wanted to pick it up, and it just stuck with him for the rest of his life, to the point where now he's like passed it on to me. And let me know if you've heard of this book, if you've read this book. Also, if you don't want to be spoiled, do not read the back of this book, because literally the back of this book gives away the whole story. This is like a full example of why I don't like to read the back of every book, okay? Because a lot of the times they'll just give you the whole story. It's like a movie trailer that just gives you all the highlights of the movie. It's like, okay, I feel like I already watched the movie. Why do I need to watch it? You just told me the whole story. That's what the back of this book is, okay? I feel like a synopsis for a 90-page book needs to be like 2 sentences, just a hook line. Number 11, book that made you happy. I have to go back to The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Okay, I didn't expect to even like this book. I thought it was going to be so cheesy. I thought it was going to be like, whatever. When I tell you this is such a 5-star feel-good read, cozy magic. I'm just happy thinking about this book. Yes, I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I have a whole ramble about this in my last video. Number 12, most beautiful book you've bought or received. Let me think, because I've actually bought a lot of beautiful books. Okay, without thinking too hard about it, I have to pick Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This is the hardcover special edition of this book, and I bought this book because of the cover and because it's a Peter Pan reimagining, and I love Peter Pan, but the cover is what sold me, okay? If I would have seen the original cover on the shelf, I wouldn't have picked it up. I wouldn't have thought twice about it. I would have walked right past it in the store and not even looked at the back of the book, okay? I'm just being honest. I'm very much a person that judges a book by its cover. If you have a pretty cover, I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna pick it up, okay? Like, look at how beautiful the back is, the front with the silver, and then, of course, the sprayed edges. Look at this. In love with this book. It is gorgeous, and yes, I have the screen here, so I'm like looking at it, and it comes with the I'm trying to see the ribbon marker. So beautiful. And this is why I am waiting to read 𝘗𝑪𝑗 because I want the special edition hardcover of 𝘗𝑪𝑗 to match Hooked, which, I mean, I guess I could just read the books and wait to buy the series in the hardcover special editions, like, eventually when they come out, and, you know, maybe I'll probably do that because I don't want to wait like 10 years for all of them to get redone. We have one more question, okay? We're almost there. Keep this one short and sweet. Oh my God. The question. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm not answering this last question because that is going to take me so long. You know why? The question is, what books do you need to read before the end of the year? That is a multi-part answer. I'm going to eventually answer that question. Eventually, I will make a video, 10 before the end. We all know about that. We all know, we've all seen those 10 before the end videos or posts or whatever. I will do one of those eventually. Not today, not right now, not while the sun has already set and it is time for bed and I'm getting a headache and I am tired of talking and I think I'm losing my voice from talking so much and my water bottle is empty. My throat's dry. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. It's been a pleasure. I'm exhausted. I'm not looking forward to editing this. And I need to drink some water because my throat is so dry now. That has been a snippet of my reading thus far this year, and I've enjoyed letting you into my world a little bit. And before I go, I have to thank you again for watching these videos, for listening to me ramble, and for saying something in the comments. I love seeing comments from you. So if you've made it this far and you don't know what to say, but you do want to bring a smile to my face by leaving me a comment, just leave me a comment with your favorite emoji. I know we're all our own worst critics and we all have those voices in our head that, you know, saying like, oh, come on, like nobody's gonna want to watch this or listen to you talk or whatever. And instead of beating myself up about it, I just go back to the comments and say, you know what, people are interested. And I'm so thankful for that. Okay, well, it was nice talking to you and I will see you next time. Bye.